Agriculture has always had strong connections with biodiversity. Farmers grow and select living organisms and shape entire landscapes in order to feed us. Today, farming occupies 40% of the land surface of the planet. And yet farmland is shrinking around the world, mainly to make way for urbanization. This is true in the Paris region, where, despite a slowdown in recent years, urban growth still consumes an average of 600 hectares of farmland every year. Since its beginnings in the Neolithic period, agriculture has been radically transformed and mechanized. Landscapes have changed, particularly as a result of land consolidation, which has led to parcels of land being joined together. Some crops have become scarce, as have landscape features such as coppices, isolated trees, hedges, farm tracks, ditches or ponds, and areas of wetland which have been drained. This simplification of the landscape, along with the growing use of man-made fertilizers and pesticides, leads to the disappearance of the species that inhabit it. In the Paris region, for example, the number of birds specially adapted to living on farmland fell by almost half between 2004 and 2017. Of 7,000 plant species that can be grown, only 30 supply 90% of the world's food. In the Paris region and across the Seine basin, farming has become specialized, with shorter crop rotations and fewer crop species. Genetic diversity has also dropped significantly. The numerous traditional varieties grown over the last century have been replaced by selected varieties offering higher yields. This simplification of our environment on all scales makes our land and food vulnerable to climate risk. This is why farmers are actively changing their methods and adopting more varied approaches. It is essential to reclaim wildlife habitats able to support biodiversity in and around areas of farmland. It is important to interconnect these areas, for example, by replanting hedges so that they act as green corridors that allow species to move from one place to another. Permanent or temporary bodies of water are vital to many species and contribute to the development of a blue grid. Meadows play a fundamental role in storing carbon and help to control flooding by acting as flood expansion areas. Where farming techniques are concerned, there are many solutions that rely on biodiversity. Organic farming is the first step forwards, as it rejects the use of man-made phytosanitary products and fertilizers. Agroforestry is an ideal way to combine farming and forestry on a farm or an area of land. Trees offer a range of ecosystem services to crops, especially when they are diversified. The gradual reintroduction of extensive farming helps farmers to protect highly biodiverse environments such as meadows, to make better use of non-arable land, to enrich the soil with organic matter, and to move away from land specialization in the countryside. It is also an opportunity to preserve old livestock breeds that have been in severe decline. Other practices that have a positive impact on the environment include simplified cultivation techniques. These involve reducing or stopping ploughing in order to protect the soil, direct sowing, extended crop rotations, creating temporary meadows, and sowing green fertilizers in order to avoid bare ground and to nourish the soil. To move away from monoculture, it is vital to vary the species grown, sometimes in the same field, and to reintroduce several varieties of a single species in order to maintain a diverse gene pool and ensure greater stability with regard to climate change. These different agro-ecological approaches are not mutually incompatible. They can feed into one another. All must draw inspiration from the local context. Connecting plant production, breeding and forestry fosters synergies between farmers and offers new commercial opportunities. The diversification of farming goes hand in hand with a return to the consumption of local seasonal produce. This means reactivating short, local supply chains and reducing long-distance import and export operations. But widespread adoption of such practices will only be achieved if governance frameworks, public policies and incentive programs also change. Many different solutions can be applied on all levels, both locally and globally. The transformation of the Common Agricultural Policy, in particular via the eco-conditionality of financial support, is one of the main levers that can be used to ensure that farming is compatible with biodiversity. These changes will take time, but are unavoidable if climate and biodiversity goals are to be met. In the meantime, naturalists are working with farmers to observe and monitor biodiversity on farms, thanks to participatory science initiatives. Biodiversity and agriculture are inseparable. Let's work together to develop agricultural methods that are more compatible with nature.